Welcome back all my aspiring pattern makers and my future fashion designers. As a pattern maker and a fashion designer, when you are creating a dress or a blouse that is to fit the shape of your body, you usually use darts. For a bodice pattern or a sloper, it is better to use a 2-dart sloper as opposed to a 1-dart sloper. And the reason is that the 2-dart sloper will give a better fit, especially around the bust area, and this is according to your bust size. The 2-dart sloper or pattern usually distributes the excess fabric between both areas as opposed to the 1-dart sloper or pattern. We are talking about a 2-dart sloper. We're talking about a sloper with a waist dart and also a side seam dart, and some people might say an underarm dart. This 2-dart sloper with the waist dart and the side seam dart is usually what we call the blueprint that is often used to create other styles. Therefore, we tend to create a basic 2-dart sloper and a pattern, whether it is from a 1-dart sloper or from scratch. And if you need help on how to create a 2-dart sloper from a 1-dart sloper, you can go back and watch my video on that, and that will help you. In this video today, I am going to show you 4 different styles that can be created on a bodice by doing dart manipulation using a 2-dart sloper or a 2-dart pattern. That is with a waist dart and a side seam dart. So let's get into our first design that we are going to create using this 2-dart sloper. First and foremost, this is what the 2-dart sloper looks like. So in this process of using the 2-dart sloper to do the dart manipulation, you are going to shift the underarm, or what we call the side seam dart, to a different position, but we are going to maintain the waist dart. So let's get started with our first design, which is to create a waist dart and also a mid-shoulder dart. So the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to shift this underarm dart to the mid-shoulder, and you must find your mid-shoulder. So you can place a mark there so you can have that mark as your guide for your mid-shoulder. And so we are going to trace along here the mid-shoulder point, coming down in the neckline, coming down the center front to the waist, and you are going to continue. Make sure that you are going to have your waist dart there. You are going to continue marking around, and you are going to come up to that underarm. When you reach there, what you're going to do now, you need to close your underarm dart. So I'm going to close this, so I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to close this underarm dart, and then I'm going to continue. And you continue all the way to the shoulder and the armhole, and then you have that mark right there. You're going to stop right there. So you have that. This is the end of your waist dart. It is not your bust point. What you're going to do next, you are going to create your bust point. And in order to create the bust point, you must remember that the bust point is literally 3/4 of an inch above the dart point. So the end of the dart point, you are going to go up your 3/4 of an inch, and you are going to have your bust point. So go up 3/4 of an inch and you will find that. So this is now your bust point, okay? One thing you must note, this is your bust point, but you need to also go up 1 inch from your bust point to get the end of your shoulder dart. So you need to go up another inch from here. So what I suggest for you to do first, since you have the mark here and we know that that is the dart distance there, you are going to use dotted line here, and I suggest you use your dotted line. And then on the other side, you are also going to use your dotted line to get to your bust point, right? and then you're going to find the center. So always do that. Find the center, and for my center here, I have 2 3/4, so I need 1 3/8. And that is your center. So with your center, what you're going to do now, you are going to create your center mark that's going to lead you into your bust point. All right, and then this is when you will go up your 1 inch. And when you do that, now you are going to shape out your new dart line for your shoulder. Okay, shape it out. And that is what it will look like. I'm doing this on the whiteboard, but if you are doing this on paper, what you'll have to do, you will have to fold your dart with the excess fabric going towards the center front, and then you will retrace along here, which is the shoulder. And once you trace that, you will get your new shoulder line that is going to look something almost like that a little bit sometimes, right? And that will be your new shoulder line, because you need to have that, because when you create the dart, you want to make sure that you have that excess fabric underneath in the seam allowance, and that is not going to be missing. Okay, so this is your first design, which is the mid shoulder and your waist dart. So with this, you can reshape your original waist dart, which is looking like this. So this was design number 1. So design number 1, and this was the mid shoulder and waist dart. So mid shoulder dart and waist dart. That's design number 1. Let's get to design number 2. And the design number 2 is going to be your mid neck and your waist dart. So into design number 2, which is going to be your mid neck and your waist dart. So because it's going to be mid neck, you have to measure along your neck to find the midpoint or the halfway point, and I already did that for you, and it's right here. So what you're going to do, you're going to trace from this point where you're going to have that all around, and let's get started. So I have this, put your mark there, trace it all around the rest of the neck from the midpoint there of your neck. And I'm going to trace down along the center front to the bottom. I'm going to place my finger there at the middle, and I'm going to mark the darts where the notches are. You need that. And you're going to continue tracing along here, going up to the dart right here. Make sure you put in for this dart tip, because you want to make sure that you can see it underneath. Yes, voila, that's where it is. So you have this dart, and we're going to close this dart now. So I'm going to close this dart, right? And when I do that, I'm going to pivot and get it there. And now I have this. Oops. Do your shoulders after you do the armhole. Come down the neck, and you're going to stop where you had started, where the mark is. So you stop right there, okay? You can make it pronounced with a mark right there. So you notice the dart here is closed. You have your original dart point there, all right, where it ends. And so what you're going to do now, you are going to find the bust point, which, as I stated before, you're talking about 3/4 of an inch up, right? And that's what it would give you. But now you are going to use dotted lines here to create your dart opening, but this is not your actual dart opening. This is coming from the bust point, but you cannot have your dart to the bust point. So for the new dart that we're doing here that is coming from the neck, we have to go 1 inch up. What you have to do also, you have the center mark. So we're going to find the center mark here. We're going to measure, and I am getting 3 inches right here, so I need 1.5 inches. Put it right there. You mark your center line. And you have that. So along your center line, this is where you're going to go up 1 inch from your bust point to get the end of your dart, which is a dart tip, and you're going to connect that to your neck. All right, just like that, just like music. All right, and it's going to look like that. So that's what you have now. So all you have to do with this, as I stated before, if you're working on paper, I can't do it here. So if you're working on paper, and you should be working on paper when you're doing this, you are going to fold your dart this over to this part, right? So that your fullness goes towards the center front. And then when you do that, you will be able to reshape the neckline here, right? And that would be your continued outer marking for your dart there, the dart opening. And you can go ahead and retrace your original dart that you have from here, right? Notice I stopped right here, and that's the end of it. This is now design number 2, and it is your mid-neck dart and waist dart. All right, so we closed the side seam dart and we transferred it to the mid-neck. So now we are going to get into design number 3. And design number 3 is going to mid-armhole and your waist dart. So let's get right into that. This is my armhole, and I'm going to find my midpoint here. And my midpoint is going to be right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trace from the midpoint all around, and let's get started. And you put your mark there for your waist dart, and you come around, and you're going to mark up to the underarm dart, but you're going to close it. So you're going to place a thumbtack here, and you are going to close this. Once you close this, then what you're going to do, you're going to continue around up the side seam to that mark that is right by the mid armhole. So you have the 2 marks there. This was your first one. There is another way that you can find your bust point instead of just going from the waist dart. So you can go from your side seam dart, and if you have your side seam here, you will draw your line across like this, right? For an A cup, you will know that you will be going 3/4 of an inch from the bust point to the tip of the dart. And for a B cup, that was 1 inch away. For a C cup, that is 1.5 inches away from the bust point. That's the tip of your underarm dart. And if it is a D cup, then that is 1.75 inches away. So you have to know what size measurement your sloper is that you're working with, and then you can do that using the underarm dart. Otherwise, stick to finding the bust point from the waist dart. So I'm going to go up 3/4 of an inch here, and that is my mark. And so from this now, I can draw my lines, and I'm going to draw my lines now. But they are going to be dashed line. That's what I'm going to draw now. All right. And so when you're working on paper, obviously the lines won't be this thick, and everything will be good. Once again, you have to measure the span of your dart or the dart width, and at the top I have here 1 3/4 inches, and 1/2 inch 3/4 is 7/8. So you have to find that 7/8 mark. So that 7/8 mark, and then you center that. That's going to be your center line. And you have that. Because you're dealing with the dart manipulation where you're closing the underarm dart, you have to go 1 inch away from the bust points. So I go my 1 inch there, and then I can reshape my new dart lines. So I have this, the red mark, all right, and you will do the same thing to the other side. All right, so you have it right there. And so this is design number 3, which is the mid armhole dart and the waist dart. So our fourth design that I'm going to do is not going to be a mid something dart. It's going to be actually the shoulder tip dart and the waist dart. So let's get right into that. For this one, I'm going to use part of what I have already, because we're coming from the shoulder tip, and the shoulder tip is literally right here. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply place this here to continue down to my shoulder tip. Make sure it's lining up properly. Yes. And I'm going to extend this to my shoulder tip. So you would trace from your shoulder tip all the way around down your center front, have your darts there. Then you would continue and then go up along the side seam here. You close this dart. Okay, this is where you put your thumb tap, and you would pivot this. Want to make sure you have it right. You pivot that, and then you do this, trace this, go all the way to the tip right here, okay, of the shoulder. So that's what you have. Now, you simply have to, once again, go up. Well, this already have my 3/4 that I went up to get my line there, to get my point for my bust, and I'm going to form that out. So I'm using dash line to form this out. Okay. And I'm going to go from the other end over here to the shoulder tip. And I'm going to form it out. Okay, my dash line. Now you have to measure the width of the dart right here at the shoulder, at the tip, right, the shoulder and the armhole. So this is 3 1/4. So because it's 3 1/4, you will need, now the half point is going to be 1 5/8. All right, 1 5/8, and you draw your line here. That's going to be your center line. And then you are going to go up from this 1 inch. So everything is pretty much 1 inch that you're going up, and you will reshape your new dart line. All right, the red marks are your new dart line. Just like this. And as I stated before, you would fold it with the fullness now going towards the center front, like that, and you will reshape here. It's not going to look exactly like that, but you will reshape it, and that is your fourth design, which is your shoulder tip dart and your waist dart. That's the fourth design. Now let's go back with this one. I didn't show you where to do the fullness. The fullness for your mid armhole is going to go down towards the waist. That's the difference there. This one is different. The others you were putting your fullness. This one, the fullness, so with this one, the arrow is not going to go here, because what you're going to do, you're going to bring this piece up to this. So then the fullness is going down towards your waist. So you're going to fold this piece along here and fold it up to this line on the paper. For this one, you're folding from here. You make this your fold line and you fold it towards the side, but the fullness is going towards the center front. Just note when you are folding and where your fullness is going. So the fullness for all the darts except for your mid armhole and your shoulder tip is going to go towards the center front. For the mid armhole and the shoulder tip, your fullness is going to go towards the waist. So when you are doing that, be careful there. So in conclusion, now that you know how to transform a 2-dart sloper or pattern into 4 other styles of design. The first one was the mid shoulder and waist, and the second one was the mid neck and waist, and the third one was the mid armhole and waist, and also the fourth one, which is the shoulder tip and the waist. I hope that you will give it a shot. Please do not use your 1-dart sloper to create designs that you're looking for a better fit. No, stick to the 2-dart sloper. It will fit you better, especially around the cup area. If you need help on dart manipulation, you can go back and watch this video, and that would also help you. Don't just use your 1-dart sloper. Stick to your 2-dart sloper and transform your designs into several different areas where you can shift that one underarm to different areas on your garment. You need that better fit, so why not stick to your 2-dart sloper? I hope this video has helped you tremendously. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that like button. Don't keep this video to yourself. Share it with others around the world so they too can know how to do dart manipulation and create different styles when they are creating a bodice that is going to fit them according to the shape of their body. Thank you for watching, and see you soon on the next video to come. Bye now.